And we have Ellen Suazo behind the scenes. We have a wonderful guest, Anthony Diaz, and another wonderful practitioner as well. So, as we usually do, we're going to start with our opening song, Choosing Heaven Today. And your job, which is really your job every day, is what are you choosing as heavenly for yourself this day and every day? However, all we have is now. So just for today, just for right now, what does heaven look like and feel like for you? So during the song, feel free to type in to the comments what you're choosing, whether it's peace, love, joy, or something that doesn't come up in the song, whatever it is that resonates for you. And because we're all one, what you choose for yourself, you'll be choosing for all. So no pressure. We're all one, so we get to benefit from each other's presence of heaven. So we're going to start with Choosing Heaven Today. Awesome. Choosing heaven. Yes, we have every bit of heaven within us and all that we can enjoy and more. And I just want to give thanks for the opportunity to once again choose what heaven looks like for me as we get to do that for ourselves as well. So here at One Love Center for Spiritual Living, We are on a mission. As so many centers and churches and groups, everybody's on a mission. Our mission is to provide a stable and welcoming community for all who choose to learn, practice, grow, and play in their understanding of the unfolding of their understanding of the spiritual principles and spiritual living. And we have a vision. We envision the world as a sacred environment where spiritual living flourishes through the continual growth and the development of learning and application of spiritual principles. So, One Love Center practices compassion and service, love in action, and prosperous, joyous giving in the community. Also, our community has been lovingly created as a place of fellowship, meditation, prayer, sacred and healing service, musical celebration, classes, workshops, and spiritual film. We welcome everyone. We welcome our first time guests, those who have been with us for a while. We welcome you. We recognize the splendor of the infinite divine spirit that is you. And please know that we support you in being the best you choose to be in this glorious life. And we thank you for celebrating spirit with us today. Welcome to a place where love grows. Thank you so much for being here with us. So, at this point, we're going to have our esteemed guests, Mr. Anthony Diaz, come in, and we're going to have him do our opening prayer, what we like to call our evocation, evoking the word of the divine from within. And as he will also say, being open at the top, we're just downloading that divine word. So we want to give thanks. And I just want to quickly say, Anthony Diaz, or Tony Diaz, is a spiritual licensed practitioner. He comes from the Go CSL, the Greater Orlando Center for Spiritual Living in Orlando, Florida. And he is an attorney, he's a lawyer. So, first, I'd like to say, yes, he's the in the material world. And also he's also a spiritual lawyer too, because he knows the law on both sides. So anyway, we're going to have him pray us in.
And thank you. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me, and it's just my honor to be here in front of everyone, especially opening up this amazing time together. So let's take a deep breath, and as we exhale, let's celebrate this sacred space that we are creating, and we are opening up for everyone to dive in. And as we pray in and pray out, we pray up and we pray down, we pray ceasingly for our highest good. And I know that for all of us that are here today to hear what they've come to hear and to get filled with their dose of spiritual nourishment. I say this with gratitude and with blessings, and we move forward with absolute certainty, and so it is.
And so it is. And now it is.
And now it is.
And we now have Ellen Suazo to provide a little bit more information about what you just experienced.
So here at One Love Center, we have prayer professionals ready and willing and able to remind you that spirit is full of power, charged and already within you for your immediate use. So what we like you to do is to send your prayers, requests, so we can pray for whatever situation you are going through or that you might like to improve. Like Reverend Rodney said many times, if everything is going your way, then let's continue to pray that life continues to flow with ease and grace for you and yours. So we have right there the email, One Love at onelovecenter.org. And remember that all your prayers are kept confidential. And we pray for you for 7 days for that situation or condition. And if we don't hear from you, we'll stop praying after 7 days. But yet, if you like to tell us what's going on and you want us to continue to pray for you, please reach out and let us know as well. Otherwise, we'll be done within 7 days for your prayers. So use us and allow us to see the truth for you. So then here we bring back Reverend Rodney and our guest, Anthony Diaz.
That you are not alone. That we're all in this together. And speaking of in this together, I just let you folks know that I've known Tony for I don't even know how many years. It's been a good while.
A long time.
And we've served together for our organization, our global organization, and it's a pleasure. I don't know, last time I've been in Orlando, but last time I was there, I go to the center. So, especially if we have ceremonies, we're celebrating, ministers and practitioners and, just the different wonderful opportunities to recognize, just how awesome it is to be in that number, in a number of spiritual education, spiritual living, spiritual practice. So, it's great to have you. Thanks for joining us. And So, we're talking today about offerings of light. We've been talking this whole month about glow up, just what that looks like, what that means. And it's interesting because it is now a new term. It's probably not in the dictionaries yet. Well, online it is. So, in the online dictionaries, you'll see about glow up, which sounds like what it is, where we are definitely moving ourselves into a higher realization of truth about ourselves, about, it's like growing up, except we're glowing up, meaning it's a bit more impactful. We're showing our light. We are, I wouldn't say maybe not afraid, because I know sometimes it's like, sometimes you just want to stay a little bit in the shadows, but glowing up means coming out of the shadow, and in a personal way, because nobody can, drag us out of the light. That's up to us to present ourselves. So we're glowing up, and today it's about offerings of light. So I think that's really interesting to have this kind of a conversation about our personal transformation when it comes to offering not just the light, it's offering our light, I think, as well. Yeah. So, and here it is here. It says glow up, informal, meaning, again, it's not in Webster's dictionary yet, but, it is common, a little bit more common now. A positive personal transformation and involving noticeable change, significant change, noticeable change in appearance and style and growth. So, it's like growing up in public. We can no longer, hide behind a curtain or stay in a cocoon, So anyway, any comment on that before we move on, Tony?
Well, I really love that phrase, glow up, and it really takes our transformation to a different level. And it's really kind of highlighting and shining the light on that as we grow up is like a physical term. We grow up in age and wisdom, but glow up is more of a consciousness. It's the light that we shine. And I think no matter how old we are, what situation we are, we're always in choice of how we, instead of show up in the world, how do we glow up in the world? So it's a great statement, and I can't wait for it to show up in Webster's dictionary.
Yeah, I mean, then it seems like it's accepted in a way, even though it's already, actual, it's factual. It's something that, and I think it's a welcome addition, in positive addition to our ways of looking at ourselves. Because sometimes you'll get too many seemingly negative descriptions of ourselves, and I think that's really great that the now generation, whatever letter, I don't know what letter is, Z generation, double Z, I don't know, but yeah, I'm glad that there is this positiveness about it, and it's to me it's an aspiration that people can look at and look like, oh, am I glowing up? So I think it's a very powerful yet innocent way of looking at ourselves for a greater good. Like we talked about in our mission, for the unfolding through spiritual awareness, education, practice. That's really what it's about. And glow up is something to necessarily aspire to. However, it to me, it's like it allows somebody to look at, gee, how do I do that? How do I glow up? And so I think that is kind of like the light that opens us up to open up our light.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's take a look at the first quote. Let's take that out. Hold on. Let's look at the first quote. I don't know why I don't see it. Oh, okay, I know why. Just give me a moment. There it is. All right. Why don't you start on that one?
Sure. So this is from Ernest Holmes' The Science of Mind, page 385. I believe in the continuation of the personal life beyond the grave, in the continuity of the individual stream of consciousness with a full recollection of itself and the ability to know and to make itself known. Yeah, I really like that. I was reading this section in The Science of Mind, and it's actually the section on immortality, and it's an amazing section, and it goes on to talk about death and how we view it and experience it, and the physical death when it talks beyond the grave, and then it talks about consciousness. So I really like the dichotomy between the physical death beyond the grave and the consciousness which we know never dies. So I think this is an excellent way for kind of Ernest Holmes to kind of explore and explain his view on immortality and life versus death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's interesting how this even corresponds to light, because we know light is visible energy in a visible form. And so what he's saying is the continuation of life beyond what we call death, like he says, beyond the grave, and it's energy that's continuing. That energy doesn't just disappear or dissipate into nothingness. It's life, and when I think about light, I think about sunlight, and it is just so amazing to me how far light travels. If you think about the furthest star that we can see, just the fact that we can see that light is immense. And so I'm thinking that continuation of personal life, that our light doesn't just disappear. Our light can be seen on some level, on some range or some frequency, and it is known on some level or some frequency. So, it's quite possible that we see each other's light. I mean, I know that we do while we're above the grave. And so that light doesn't extinguish beyond the grave. It's continuation. It's continuing. It's a continuation of that energy that does not dissolve. So I think that's how it resonates for me. That our light energy, our life force energy, or light, that frequency continues on. So anyway, that's
and a perfect example of that is just if we think about the people that have made an impact in our life and have given us light and life, when they're off of the physical plane, we can still feel their life. We can feel their light.
Yeah.
And that's just it's a manifestation of the continuity of that personal life. And that's kind of what consciousness is to me. It's we're all connected. It's easy to talk about when we're all connected on the physical life, but even when we're not all on the physical life, we're still connected. And that light is shining, in a different way, but it still continues to shine, after we leave this physical plane.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people might say, well, how do you know that? And I think what's important is that we don't necessarily take it for granted, but I think it's something that we get to experience, that we need to be rather still and trust that, and ask the right question. Like, wait a minute, what does happen? Not just what we talked. I mean, we talked earlier about being open at the top. And here's a wonderful quote. It says, seeing death as the end of life is like seeing the horizon as the end of the ocean, by David Searles, a journalist. It's very interesting that we would, it's like, I remember growing up and they were like, oh, well, sailors used to think at the end of the ocean, as far as they could see, you just fall off. That's where the planet ended, not just the ocean. The planet ended there. And we know that that's not true. I don't think so. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, I haven't sailed all the oceans. However, when you look at the map, you look at the globe, or you look at the planet, because now we have pictures from space of the planet, there is no end of the ocean. And so in respect, there's no end of life. And so I think that's important that we can have that realization of, what does ending mean? But anyway, go for it. Any comments on that?
Yeah, so it's interesting because I remember growing up, you're looking at the ocean and it seems like it ends.
Yeah.
If you look, you think you see the end of it, and perception is everything sometimes. But what we know in life is, life may have a chronological ending or a physical ending, but there is no end. We can never see the end of life because there is no end of life. And it may seem like, there's the sunset, we're all on the last years or whatever, but we know that as the ocean is infinite, and it just takes on a different perspective. So I think that's a great quote.
Absolutely. I just wanted to actually ask a question of everyone. It didn't, for some reason, it didn't come up here, but I'm going to put it in the comments. So, the quote that says what we call death is not an end, but a shift in consciousness, which is a pretty awesome concept. A release of form so that essence can return to its source. And I think that's awesome because that is another way of looking at there is no end, as you mentioned. That, yeah, there is a continuation that we get to consider. That we get to consider that. And the question, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt, but Michael Singer, for anyone who hasn't read this book, I mean, it's an absolute treasure. I mean, it's one of those you can't fly through. Every paragraph is like this morsel of power, and we're grateful in Central Florida. That is where Michael Singer makes his home, and he definitely does workshops and whatnot. But if you think about this, death not being an end, a shift in consciousness, really that's kind of the way Ernest Holmes in his chapter on immortality really focuses on the fact that we're all part of this one consciousness, this one mind. And whether we haven't been born yet and we're still in the apple of somebody's eye and hasn't made it yet, or we've transitioned on to another stage and another continuum, all it is shifting. And I really like that, there really isn't a beginning and there really isn't an end. It's just a continuum, and the continuum has no beginning or end. It just glows and flows. And this is a great example of that.
Yeah, we have a contributor here, Lida Perez, one of our practitioners. This quote beautifully reframes death as a continuation rather than a conclusion. I love that. It reminds us that our true essence is not bound by the physical body. It is eternal, ever connected to source. What seems like loss is actually transformation, a return to the infinite flow of spirit where love, awareness, and being remain untouched. It invites peace in knowing that nothing real is ever lost, only liberated. Thank you so much, Lita.
Beautiful.
All right. Thank you for that. Awesome. So we have a question. When you feel something is missing or broken in your life, and this is for everybody, regardless of when you're watching this, what would change if you viewed it as already whole and complete? So what would change? And as Lita had mentioned, it's like a sense that nothing is missing, nothing is broken. It's just a transformation. So when I know that there's something that's been transforming in my life, what's my approach? I would say that's a moment where I get to glow up. I get to practice from a belief that is bringing out my highest and best in that moment. I have a quick example. It seems longer, but more than a few weeks ago, my car, the brakes went out as I was on the highway. And in that moment, right before that, I went right into heavy traffic. And then as soon as I stopped, my brakes were completely gone. And in that moment, it was one of those miracle moments where I was able to get off the highway. Tony, you're from New York, the FDR I'm talking about. It's a race course, But however, on this particular Saturday evening, there was bumper to bumper traffic and my car brakes went out in bumper to bumper traffic, not as I was moving to the traffic. It's one of those miracle situations. And so that whole experience, it felt like, my car is broken, things aren't working out. But the whole time was there was just seemingly miracle after miracle, because I was open to what was happening in the moment. it really was like a transformation. I didn't get angry. I didn't get scared. Well, no, I was a little bit scared, but I used that energy to focus on what needed to be done in the moment. However, after that, um, I didn't have my car, and I really liked driving my car, depend on it. But I wasn't desperate. I didn't feel like there was a hole in me or in my heart or in my life. And people, the mechanics I went to, oh, it's going to cost like 2,500 to fix, or maybe even more. It was just like impending disaster. Like, oh gosh. Well, you know what? I stayed in a sense of like oneness to see how this, what's going to happen next. I didn't panic. I wanted to just sell the car, get another car. Well, it turns out after I did a little bit more introspection, and I was able to be calm and peaceful in a moment. And inspection, I'd look at the car again, even though mechanics told me it was a hopeless cause. And I found that, you know what? Maybe it's not as bad as I thought. And so I tinkered with it. And it turns out that it wasn't as bad as they thought. And it cost me $250 as compared to $2,500. And I'm like, wow, being in that transformation of consciousness from one of feeling, that hopeless, despair, desperate. I'm like, no, I didn't live in that space. I lived in a greater possibility. And I felt, I mean, yeah. How could I say? Like, my bank account didn't transform into the negative, because I was able to be at peace in the moment and allow for something that seemed like the end to not be the so-called end. I could see beyond the horizon of what I was told. Like I was told in school, this is what people believed. Well, no, I was able to believe something more than further than what I could see. But past the horizon of what people were telling me that's it for their car. So anyway, I just wanted to share that.
Yeah. So, when you were talking, there was a quote that came through my mind, and I always get it reversed. So I'll say both versions. It's, us human beings having a spiritual experience, or a spiritual being having a human experience. So we have what's going on, and I kind of look at it as, is it actual or is it factual?
Yeah.
Now, factual, you had a brake issue. I mean, there was no question about it. There was something going on with the car, but in actuality, there was something else going on.
Yeah.
And these seemingly factual events in life give us an opportunity to see what's really going on in actuality. And basically, sometimes it's a test. It's like, okay, do we have faith or do we have faith? And it's really easy to go off the deep end and start looking at negative bank accounts, as opposed to, this is our human self, having an opportunity to have a spiritual experience. And like you did, you didn't get caught up in the condition or the seemingly condition. You took a step back and say, okay, now what is mine to do here?
Yeah.
What is actually happening? And instead of reacting, you went into an introspection, and you had the result that you didn't think you were going to have in the beginning. So it's just this way for us to be able to, when you say like missing or broken in your life, this is a chance for us to be present, and to just be present with when we're present, everything is perfect and complete, because we're right here, right now. We don't focus on the condition, we focus on what is. And I love your quote, and so it is, and now it is, and now it is now, because that's all we have.
Yeah. And thank you for that. It is, and it takes practice. I have to admit, there were moments when I wanted to act react, out of whether it was anger or fear or doubt, worry, all of those things, and I mean, when you practice being in the now, being in the moment, trusting, having faith, and I gotta admit, Tony, that we all have faith. How do we use the faith is the important thing. Yeah, I like to say positive faith, because there are people who have faith in the negative. Like when you die, that's it. And that's it. And they're feeling very, even actually afraid of death. Afraid of change, afraid of transformation. And it doesn't mean a physical, what we call physical death, where the body reaches expiration date. No, not that. But any kind of change signals death of something, and yes. and a lot of people will, and I know I was there. I want to hide my light. Don't look at me. Let me just sail along below the radar, and not invite change. But we know, as I'd like to think everybody knows, that change is inevitable. Everything changes. So, but yeah, let's look at another quote, and let's see which quote's that going to be. Get me here. I just want to go back to. Let's see. Yeah. This one. It says, birth is not a beginning, and death is not an end. There is only transformation, by Lao Tzu from the Tao Te Ching. And yeah, would you like to comment on that first?
Yeah. No, I mean, this is one of the most profound writers, speakers, and I would call him also a new thought person as well. And, birth and death, I mean, we can have like weeks and weeks on these conversations because they're just so rich and full. And, when we think of transformation, if you look at the word transform, we're going from one form to another. And basically, we do that in between birth and death. We're constantly transforming. If we look at ourselves when we were 5 and 15 and 25 and 50, you'd almost think there are 4 different people there. Well, same person, but we've transformed in the way we've evolved. So, we are always transforming. And the question is, what are we transforming into? And that brings back the word for me, choice. Mm-hmm. We're always at choice. And we get to choose what we transform into. We get to choose where we were transforming from, because we made that choice some years ago. So this beautiful concept of free will gives us the ability to decide where we're coming from and where we're going to. And I used to think that was a little overwhelming. Like my first career, I was a CPA. But CPAs like answers. They like fixed answers. You want to know where you're going to. There's got to be a roadmap. And, and over the years, and being a practitioner, we know that that's not life. Life is continually this palette that we get to recreate every second. So I think, birth and death are one of an unlimited and infinite number of transformation that we get to live and choose the rest of our lives. And I think that's what makes life so beautiful. And I think that's what makes death so beautiful, because it's just a change in form into something else. And what we know the universe says, always something better.
Yeah, that's it. And it must be. Even though it doesn't necessarily look like that or feel like that, it's part of the continuation. It's part of what is natural and actually normal, which a lot of times we are not necessarily welcoming the change. I mean, we look at the other forms of nature, like caterpillars, which are always a wonderful example of transformation to a ultra high degree, because they to continue life, they must transform in such a seemingly drastic way, meaning that when they wrap themselves in a cocoon, their DNA changes completely, which is just mind-boggling. That's not the same creature that went in, and there's like nothing recognizable from the butterfly to the caterpillar. It's just really incredible. And so, gee, we don't go through such drastic transformations yet. We have sometimes a difficult time with that. You know, we want to hold on to the familiar. This is who I am. I've always been this way. I always thought that way. I always act that way. And in reality, that's not true either. We like to think that it's true. We like to hold on to that as truth. However, and I'm grateful it's not the truth.
Absolutely. And we're grateful that the caterpillar continues to make that choice to go into a butterfly, because then we get to see the beauty of that transformation.
And butterflies have an important role when it comes to pollination. You know, something also awesome about butterflies, as a quick aside, when they migrate, I still just have a difficult time grasping a butterfly flying thousands of miles. I mean, it's just really incredible. So that's, talk about good, better, best. I mean, the caterpillar can't do that. You know, so and we are capable of so much more when we allow ourselves to transform from what was into what can be, what will be, what is. I mean, yeah, we are at choice, and we set up that choice by our previous choices, but we're not bound by them. You know, we have freedom, which I heard you use that word. You know, we have the ability to like, hey, you know, I no longer want to experience that. And that's the whole word about decide. We get to decide, which means to kill off something. We're killing off what is no longer serving us, what we no longer choose to experience. So we decide and then instantly make another choice, even if it's do nothing, until we make another choice. Yeah, so I just wanted to share that. I just want to invite another conversation here. Oh, okay, this is Madeline Katz, who Reverend Madeline, also a religious science practitioner, who we look to have join us in November. And Lita says she's talking about from seeing lack to recognizing divine perfection unfolding. In that awareness, I stop and no longer try to fix life. Instead, allow life to reveal its inherent wholeness. Woo.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's what it's about. It's where'd that one come from? Yeah. Seeming gap is an invitation to deepen my faith and open my heart. You know, anytime have you been to London?
I have many years ago.
Have you taken the subway there?
That I haven't. No.
Yeah. The underground, they call it. Well, in between the train and the platform, much like in New York City and other cities, DC, there's a gap between the platform and when the train comes in. And they have a saying that says, mind the gap. You know, you have to be aware that there's a gap, and it's most likely larger than it appears to be, than you expect it to be. You know, so when Lita brought that up, it's that seeming gap is that invitation to be mindful, you know, and to be able to stretch a little more than we expect ourselves to stretch. And I just wanted to because we had to deepen our faith. You know, we got to like, okay, there's everything within me that I need to make it through that gap, to make it over that gap. and it's the same with our belief system. Our belief system, is requiring us to, to glow up. It's like, because what we believed years ago is not going to serve us today. I remember when, way back in the day when people had a hard time wanting to put a warning on cigarette packs, like that said, smoking may be hazardous to your health. That was a big controversy. Probably, mostly by the cigarette companies, but but yeah, there were people who like, no, smoking doesn't bother me, it doesn't harm, nothing's going to happen to me, but we had to have a shift, had to have a change, before evidence showed up, and that's what we do. We're allowing for that ourselves to glow up before, any evidence that says it's necessary to glow up. That's the glow. That's the real glow. We get to shine our light before, we enter into the darkness, because entering into the darkness, sometimes that dark night of the soul, sometimes it's difficult to get in touch with that light because we're so consumed with darkness, so consumed with looking at life in a negative way. Even if, and dark night of the soul can be quite natural. Sometimes it's like going into a cocoon. However, what's the mindset of being in the cocoon? Are we, do we have a positive expectancy, a positive faith of a greater good, like you mentioned earlier? Like, for the better. Caterpillar can't do much staying a caterpillar. Or its existence is for something better that can do better. Because the caterpillar doesn't really pollinate very well, but a butterfly can do some great work, not just for itself, but for others. Yeah. Anyway, do we have another quote that we can bring up before our affirmations? Yeah. There you go, Anthony.
Yeah. To everything, there is a season, a time to be born and a time to die. Ecclesiastes 3:1-2. And it's most of us know this. It also reminds me of the song Turn, Turn, Turn that the Birds did many years ago. And it reminds me of the caterpillar and the butterfly. There's a time to be born and a time to die. And but from a consciousness standpoint, what I would this is more of an is, again, we're looking at it from a physical perspective, but what we know, and what Ernest Holmes has taught us so eloquently, is that consciousness lives on. There's no beginning of consciousness. There's no end of consciousness. So while our physical bodies might have been born and our physical bodies might be a time to die, what we do know is that life as we know it continues on and on past our lifetime, past many, many, many lifetimes. And that's the beauty of consciousness and the one mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's so for everybody out there, whether you are really aware of these spiritual teachings or not, we can look at life in another way besides just on the eye level, just like, oh, that's how I see it. Well, there's another way of looking beyond the physical, and that's what's metaphysical. And there are so many lessons in that. And number one is that they're metaphysical law that we are bound by, just like we're bound by the physical laws of gravity. We're bound by metaphysical laws, such as one of the basic ones is done unto you as you believe. Your thoughts will manifest into your reality. These are things that are law. And so I just want to add that you can, get a spiritual education, metaphysical education. you can get an understanding of what this means. So you don't have to feel like you're only um, operating from a low level of understanding. It's like, but wait, there's more. There's more to life than meets the eye. There's more to who we are that speaks about what we are and whose we are, as Ellen likes to say, knowing the truth of who we are. And I'm just going to wait until our guest comes back. There's another quote I just wanted to bring up. It says, God is life, and in that life, which is God, there are no years. It's by Science of Mind, in the Science of Mind archives, Joel S. Goldsmith, The Infinite Way Teachings. And again, there's the spiritual information, education that is available is vast. And what we find is that there are so many different ways to have the truth revealed. And in this quote, that God is life. I mean, the creator is life. If you don't like the word God, use any other word that symbolizes that which has created everything. And so that is life, is God. And there are no years. The calendar and time are all human constructs of what we call life. We put a number to it. Oh, you've lived so many years. And sometimes we bind ourselves to those physical constructs that we create and put limits on. Anyway, Tony's back.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize about that. No, this is again Joel Goldsmith. It's amazing his writings, especially in the Infinite Way teachings. But you're right. We, as this human existence has created a lot of physical, I call them boundaries and guideposts, and it's a way for the way we live life on Earth to be managed. We manage it in life, we manage it in years. But when we take out that component, there is no years. And a perfect example is when we're present, there's no beginning, there's no end, there's no yesterday, there's no tomorrow. There's all we have is right here and right now. And that's the perfect example of consciousness and being present. Is we don't have to worry about what happened in the past or what might happen in the future. It doesn't matter, because when we stay in the here and the now, that is all God, and it's all now. So this is a great example.
Yeah, and that's so true. And thank you for that. And so here's an example of what we do to assist ourselves in spiritual awareness and spiritual teaching and spiritual practice, and its affirmations. And a lot of people poo-poo affirmations, but they do have a place in our spiritual practice. Did you want to mention something before we do this?
Yeah, I mean, affirmations are basically reminders of who we are, and there is a part of society that may not really understand that, but basically all it is explaining and exploring what we know already is. So that's kind of how I look at it, as opposed to an affirmation is just really affirming who we are and who we're becoming. So let's do our first affirmation, and I'll ask everyone to just take a deep breath and just let this time together flow in as and through us. And let's begin by saying, it is so that I honor death as a natural part of life's sacred cycle. By remembering those who came before me, I live more fully in the present. And let's just feel those words and those images and that energy as it makes its way through our consciousness and through our physical body. And let's say that one more time. As we breathe out, let us know that it is so, that I honor death as a natural part of life's sacred cycle. By remembering those who came before me, I live more fully in the present.
Thank you. And I invite each one to take a breath and repeat. It is so that I celebrate the eternal bond with those who have transitioned from this world, because love transcends all boundaries. Let's do that again. Take a breath. It is so that I celebrate the eternal bond with those who have transitioned from this world, because love transcends all boundaries.
Said so beautifully. And let's have our third affirmation as we invite the truth of what I am about to say. It is so that I release my fear of death, and I live with purpose, love deeply, and celebrate this precious gift of life. Let's breathe that in, and let's allow us to say that together again. It is so that I release my fear of death, and I live with purpose, love deeply, and celebrate this precious gift of life.
It is so, and so it is, and now it is. Yes. All right. Well, thank you all. I want to also just add something that came up. Reverend Madeline put in a Goldsmith quote. It says, not just a quote, it's an affirmation, perhaps a mantra. I am receptive to divine love. So you want to repeat that 3 times a day. Oh, thank you, Reverend Madeline. Okay. All right. So at this point, we're going to invite Tony back. I'm going to do a grounding prayer, grounding treatment. And so thank you, Tony. And so don't go away, and everybody don't go away. Wait, there's more. So I just invite you to, again, follow the breath. Let us go within. And just knowing that, yes, right where I am, the divine is, God is, the creator is, and of itself has created not only me, but Tony and Lita and Ellen and Madeline and Elizabeth and everyone who is, of course, at any point in time watching and viewing this conversation. But everybody everywhere throughout all of what we call time, is that there is only one. And I am knowing that there is a continuation of this life that knows no bounds, no boundaries. Although in the human form, we get to create boundaries, but we know that there is more than this, that it is deeper and higher and in and as all of life. And that is the light energy, the life force energy, the light, the creative energy, however you want to call it, that there is no end to it. It is eternal. And it is showing up in different form. It is transformative and is transforming itself in whatever form it chooses. And it, to me, as many of you know, is IT, the infinite truth, and the infinite truth is God is all there is. So everything is transforming as a form of the divine, a form of the creator, which creates everything out of itself. And so how awesome it is to know that, yes, death is not an end, nor a beginning. It's part of the continual flow, the continual cycle of the never ending, never beginning, infinite presence that knows itself through its It's creations, ever transforming creations. So I know on our level of experience, of existence, that there is a power within us, that is us, living his life as us, to transform from that which is undesirable to that which is more desirable. Showing up in our affairs, in our finances, like being able to transform from a consciousness of being broke to a consciousness of abundance and prosperity that not only benefits one, but benefits all. I am knowing that is true of our health, wealth, and of well-beingness, that there's a transformation of a consciousness that moves from a belief that illness is a power, that sickness is a power, but knowing that there is a power within us that is greater than us, that we can use, that we do use each and every moment. We're using this power already. It's already ever available for each and every one of us. And we use it. And we use whatever means necessary to get a greater understanding of this, for our grand consciousness rising, for our glowing up, to grow up into the true nature of who we are, or who we are intended to be. And so I give thanks for knowing this is also the truth in our relationships, that we get to glow up in our relationship with ourselves, with our understanding of life, with each and every one that we encounter. We glow up in our sense of enlightenment, of our alignment with the truth, with it, the infinite truth, alignment with the Creator, our ascension in our conscious awareness of life and love and light and laughter and all the good that is transformed and transcribed in our mind, in our heart, and our soul. So I give thanks for this word spoken. I give thanks for knowing that this and even greater is now manifesting for each and every one, in the wonderful form in which it moves, and moves each and every one of us. And so I allow it to be this good, because I know it's already done. This word spoken into the divine action of the law is already showing up. It's already manifesting already. It's always ready to respond to the word. And that's the nature of the law. So I allow it to be with this understanding, with this knowing that it is already done. And I affirm it by releasing it and saying, and so it is, and now it is. Say, peace and blessings, beloveds. Right now, even now, and invite Ellen to come back and tell us more about the power of prayer and talk some about abundance as well. Thank you, Ellen.
So what you just heard is a treatment, a 5-step treatment. And we do that as practitioners and as reverends to support you. So here at One Love Center, we have prayer professionals ready, willing, and able to remind you that spirit is full of power, charge, and already within you for your immediate use. At the bottom, you see how you can connect with us by sending us an email at onelovecenter.org. And remember, all prayers are confidential. We pray for you for 7 days for whatever situation is going on. And we'll continue to pray only if you connect with us. So please send us your email, use us, and we'll be here ready and waiting for you to pray for you. We also here at One Love Center, we want to let you know that we're really grateful for your donations, for all the donations that you provide to us, that you continuously send to us on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, whenever you choose to do that, and for whatever amount that your heart tells you to do. Remember to give from a place of love, a place of abundance, so you can continue to experience in your life abundance, not just in the form of money, but in the form of health, love, peace, that everything flows in your life. So when you do that in the form of money to One Love Center, I promise you, you will see many blessings from different places. And I speak from a place of experiencing this good. So don't worry about giving. Give whatever your heart tells you to do. And so now I invite you to recite with me the affirmation of abundance. Put your hands in your heart as you have that amount of money that you will be sending to One Love Center. Money, as one of many gifts of spirit, is good. As I share my offerings, I know that I'm actively creating a space to receive more gifts, more money, and more good. I am grateful for the ability to give and the good work that these gifts do in our center, in our world. And now it is, and so it is. So send your donations. Go to onelovecenter.org. Click on the donation button. It's going to take you through the process of using PayPal, or you can also send it to Cash Me App, $ One Love Centers, One Love CSL. So that is $ One Love CSL. That's using the Cash Me app. You also on the website, if you're still using checks, you can send checks, and the address is on our websites for you to do. Thank you so much for all your gifts, and for continue to share your abundance with One Love Center. So we bring Reverend Rodney back again.
All right. Thank you, Ellen. And some quick announcements. We would certainly love some assistance in our technical assistance in managing our broadcasts. You can contact us through One Love at onelovecenter.org to be of service. Thank you in advance. You don't have to be a member. However, yeah, we'd love for that as well. But yeah, if you're feeling the need or a desire to come and serve and join with us, you can join in our revolving group of people who are in service for managing the broadcast. Thank you. Going on right now is the Fall Soul Visioning Retreat. So today is the last day. Now there are 2 sessions for today. You can start anytime. So today, the next session on the East Coast is 3 p.m. and the last one is, I believe, 10 p.m. There are different times for, of course, depending on where you are in the country. Let's see. So it says that nourish your soul and revitalize your vision. And it's by donation based, so you can give any amount that you desire. And I'm going to add, here it is. Let's see. I don't think it's showing up. Let's see. I'm not sure how to make that show up, but anyway, it's you can't see it. However, the next session is at 4 p.m. Eastern time, and 10 p.m. The third one is 10 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm not able to put that on the screen. Perhaps I can put it in the comments. And there is another announcement I want to make very quickly. And that is coming up, 2 announcements, actually. Coming up this summer, we have the conference, Convention of the Americas, which is going to be in Mexico, which I've done twice already, which is rather awesome. And we'll have some wonderful speakers, wonderful ceremonies. It's like a retreat. It's so much wonderful things going on. Also, we have another conference called Celebrating Our Soul, and that is that. It's a third one. It's every other year. This is going to be at Unity Village. If you've never been there, that's a wonderful place to visit. August 13th to the 16th. tickets are on sale December 1st. So be on the lookout for that as well. And you can go to the website for the people of African descent in New Thought. And you can find that on Facebook. All right. So thank you so much. And we are going to bring Tony back for any closing remarks.
Well, I really appreciate being with you today, Reverend Rodney. It's just an absolutely amazing conversation, something we don't talk a lot about, and that's death. And there are many ways to go ahead and look at it. And what we do know is principle is not based on precedent. We're always at choice, and we get to choose not only how we look at life, but we get to choose how we look at death. So thank you for having me today for this great conversation.
You're welcome. And something that just popped into my mind from when you're speaking is that it's probably more common than not that when people say, "Oh, there was a near-death experience and I was being called to the light," and so I'm sure that has a whole lot of other spiritual ramifications that we can come up with that are most likely true. I mean, I think that it's all true. Different people, it's described differently by a lot of different people. And I can think of my own experiences where I felt I was enveloped by light when I was what I thought was like, pretty near to extinguishing this body. So, we can look at it so many different ways. However, the most important thing, like you said, is look at it. Don't be afraid of exploring life. And whether we fully understand it or not doesn't stop us from inquiring and acquiring greater information, greater experiences of glowing up. That's really what it's about. It's like, yes, you mentioned earlier, being open at the top. So we're going to end with our closing prayer, and I certainly invite Tony to join me in that. So and after which we're going to have a wonderful song at the end. So please feel free to join us for that as well. And so just knowing as we go within that even higher within, because we're getting deep, but it's also in a high state of conscious awareness that yes, there is only one life, and that life, and there's only one light that emanates from the sun. It looks like individual rays, but it's only one light. Okay, we individualize it, we individualize things, but we individualize our experience, ourselves. There's only one. We all are of the one life and the one light, that one energy that is existent everywhere. As we like to say, there is no place where I end and you begin. We're all of the one. And I give thanks for knowing that we can go throughout our day, throughout our life, one day at a time, being with greater awareness of the light, of the experience of life. And I turn my word over to Tony.
And I listened to Reverend Rodney's beautiful words of truth. Is what I know is that, as Ernest Holmes so eloquently notes in Science of Mind, is that immortality is forever. And there is no beginning and no end, but that one place that we always are, that one place of being present, that one place that outlives every understanding and every experience that we have. And as we move through these thoughts and words and energy, we know that we continue to live life exactly as it is and know that our consciousness will outlive everything as it is. So as I say this, I know this, and I release this out into the law of mind to do what it does best, knowing that it's already done knowing that it's already complete. And let's all say together with certainty, courage, and conviction. And so
it is. And now it is. Right now, even now. Thank you, one and all. And everybody, just please remember to share this, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook, because I'm sure there's something in here that somebody could benefit from hearing. And I want to thank Elizabeth. Thank you very much, Elizabeth, for showing up. And she's on another part of the planet. So thank you for being here with us. Thank you, Madeline. We appreciate you as well. And Lita and Ellen, thank you so much for being behind the scenes with all of this. And if there's anybody that I missed, thank you for being with us. And at any time, you can continue to put comments and posts in YouTube or Facebook. So thank you again, Tony. It's been a pleasure. Great, enriching conversation, and with a wealth of spiritual awareness and knowledge and wisdom. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rodney.
All right. Stick around, folks. We have a wonderful song. You may have heard it before. And we'll be back for our final goodbye after the song.
Things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that caused me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. 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 Yeah. I am light. piece of it all. I am light.
There's that ending message. Yes, I am light. You are light. We are light. Peace and blessings. Thank you so much. Okay. We'll see you again next week.